there was a group of anthropologists that were observing the behavior of monkeys on an island in the Pacific, somewhere, probably not too far from here. And they were feeding the monkeys yams, sweet potatoes. And during the time that the anthropologists were observing the monkeys, one day, one of the younger monkeys accidentally dropped her yam in the water. It was a small island, you know, that was bordered by water. And she fished it out and found out that not only had it been washed with sand, which was a good thing, but it also become salted and much more delicious. So this was kind of like an evolutionary, you know, step that the food supply was kind of enhanced. And as I have read this, she showed her mother how to wash the yams and some other monkeys. So there was this thing going on for a little while of, you know, she told two friends and she showed two friends, and more of the monkeys were learning how to wash their yams. And then, I don't know what the exact number was. They say it's 100 because that's just kind of a round number for the story. But almost overnight, at some point, a certain percentage of the population had been taught how to wash their yams. And so they were doing that. But overnight, once this kind of critical mass had been reached, the next day, every single monkey was washing their yams, even the ones that hadn't been shown how to do it. And the anthropologists were like a little bit shocked, because again, this was being observed. So that kind of paradigm shift that we sometimes hear about, it's like there's a certain way of doing things, and then it starts to change, and when enough people have adopted a new way of doing things, the way things are done just changes. And it was literally overnight with these monkeys that a portion of them went from knowing how to wash their yams to the whole thing. Now, I think that would be a pretty good story in itself. But what was even more fascinating was there were other anthropologists observing monkeys on other islands in the area. And as soon as that shift happened on that first island, all the monkeys on all the other islands started washing their yams too.
Wow.
So I'll just give you a second to take that in. You know, this stuff really happens. And I've been thinking about that for years, because I believe that if an experience is available to anyone, it's available to everyone. Like, it only takes one monkey to make possible another way of being, for that to be available to everyone. And I remember when I was struggling with my weight, everybody was struggling with their weight. You know, this was years ago, and we were dieting, and I dieted my way up from, you know, just being a little bit chubby to being seriously fat. I don't know it all in kilos, but in pounds, a good weight for me would be like 120, and I was at 170. So just percentage-wise, you know. And this is, by the way, as heavy as I've been in years. I've been interestingly watching how I actually deal with that, because my commitment is that I don't suffer with it anymore. You know, I kind of allow things to ebb and flow. But to me, that the story really is important for some of our beliefs, because I've been saying for years that I think my greatest contribution to the collective consciousness at this point is that I've gone from being tyrannized by food to being free, and, you know, really joyful. And that if I've been able to do that, then anybody can do that, and that I have something really valuable to share. Because as the voice said up in the plane that time, you know, when that's all your reality is you know, self-judgment about your weight, like really nothing else can happen in your life. And I remember being in that space, you know, for a really long time. So that, to me, is the first step, is the belief part.